We are going to go to here's an interesting one. Titans, what the Tennessee Titans, their offense is very polarizing, and a lot of it has to do with Will Levis. Their ADP right now, what Levis's ADP is not moving. But the way these receivers are moving right now, it tells me that people are buying in. I don't know if they're buying into Levis. They could be buying into Brian Callahan because of all the magic he's done with Joe Burrow in a very similar offensive cast. You got to remember what Burrow had, and Callahan surrounded him with Boyd, Chase, and T. Higgins. And now you go Callahan surrounding Will Levis with Ridley, Hopkins, and Boyd. All three of these receivers plus Chig, their ADP is moving up. Everybody's moving up. Ridley is up 10 and a half spots from 94 to 84. Hopkins is up 12 and a half spots from 104 to 91. Boyd's up 22 spots from 281 to 259. And actually, Chig is up 5.5 spots. I have it in my notes is down, but it's actually up from 158 to 153. And then the running back wise, we have Pollard down 12 spots, Spears up 6 spots. So this entire Tennessee Titans offense, they're all over the place. Most of it's going in the right direction. What do we make of this here? Because I've been a proponent of this offense all offseason. I think it's a low risk, high reward best ball stack all across the board. I want to hear where you guys are.
Steve, you can go first.
Yeah, I always joke around with the Willie Levi's, because Levis, obviously Levi's. I would call him Willie Fubu's, But I'll tell you one thing about Will Levis. He's got a rocket arm. He's athletic. He's athletic. He can sling it. He could really put up points. He's going to throw a lot of terrible passes, and he's very, very volatile. I kind of think he's like Jeff George's Jr. a little bit without the athleticism, as far as that rocket arm, but like prone to terrible passes and mistakes. Anthony knows, but yeah. So with these weapons now with Ridley and Hopkins, it is a little intriguing. I don't mind as like a backdoor, best ball stack getting some of these guys. Chig is solid. Again, new coordinator in Callahan. Maybe that just kind of opens up the offense a little bit more. With Vrabel out of the way as well. He's kind of like more traditional pound the rock. They had Derrick Henry all those years, so they had to use him. He's gone. So maybe they just start slinging the rock all around, and they have the weapons with Boyd, Hopkins, and Ridley. So, yeah, I don't mind, the way these guys are moving up the board. And even Treylon Burks, I mean, nobody's even talking about him. You could get him next, basically for free at the end of your
There's
best.
a reason for that.
I'm just saying, if you wanted to stack them on top of, if you missed out maybe and you got Will Levis and you have Ridley and you want to just throw Treylon Burks on there as like a sprinkle, you could.
Wouldn't shock me if Treylon Burks was a wide receiver too in Pittsburgh by the end of the summer.
You never know. You never know where he could go. But yeah, I mean, Will Levis, we saw him put up that one huge game last year, and then it looked like he was gonna just go stay like that. But then he kind of just resorted back to the raw quarterback that he was. And there was a reason he probably fell in the draft. But all the points I stated, I like his arm. He's got the weapon. So I see the reason. I don't mind going after these guys.
Yeah. So Calvin Ridley, right? I mean, let's he's the guy I want. I don't mind paying his price. I actually think he's decently affordable. Let's remember when he was in Atlanta, in 2020, prior to, he had the issues where in 2021 he had the mental health stuff, right? He stopped playing. Yeah, and then the gambling came out the next season once the season was over, and he missed it. So in 2020, I mean, he had 137 targets. Last year he had 132. The difference was he didn't haul in a lot of his catches this year. And look, there was some rust there, but his route running, I mean, he looked as good in terms of running routes this past season than he had in all the previous seasons prior. I mean, he was 20th in routes won versus man coverage. He was 16th in the NFL for routes won overall. If you're winning your routes against man, that says a lot. Zone, I don't care too much about. I mean, there's guys that can find the soft spots in zone, but that's a pretty subjective stat, so I don't really care too much about it. But the issue was he was 6th in total drops last year, right?
That's his issue. He drops and he's not great at contested catches. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the difference was like last season he had 1,000 yards, right? And if he could haul in some of those catches, right? I mean, with a lot of those drops, I mean, he had 8 touchdowns last year, which just seems kind of crazy because if you watch the compilation video of him and Trevor Lawrence, I think he dropped like 3 or 4 touchdowns last year. So I expect him to take a step forward. He signed a big contract. Follow the money is what I say. They want to feature this guy. They paid him a lot of money. They like him, and he's still got it when it comes to his route running ability. He's gonna get open. It's just a matter of him hauling his catches in. And I think the market is adjusting to this offense and these pass catchers because I think it's just sharpening up a little bit. I don't think it's an overreaction. I just think it's people are finally realizing that they're mispriced and they're coming up the board a little bit more because, like Anthony said, new offensive coordinator Bryce Callahan. I am in on this offense. I think they're going to be, maybe it's a bold statement, I think they're a top 15 unit this year. I really believe that. And if they're a top 15 unit, I think Calvin Ridley is going to be a big benefactor from that. And I like Will Levis in the quick game. I think he showed some promise. So Calvin Ridley's the guy I want. I don't know about the other guys. I mean,
Their defense was trash last year too. Was it good last year? I don't remember.
They made some additions on defense, and they brought in additions on the O-line too. Yeah. So I'm in on Ridley at his price. I think he has a chance to finish as a wide receiver 1 this year. I really do believe that as well.
That's a take and a half.
Yeah, I don't see
and I love Ridley. For that to happen, Will Levis needs to take a monstrous step forward. This offense was one of the worst in the NFL last year. There's not much room then to go up. I think top 15 is bold. I think saying Ridley as a wide receiver 1 is bold. I don't think it's impossible. Why I'm in this Titan stack, and I've been on this Titan stack all offseason. They put in major resources at running back to get running backs, to get wide receivers, and to upgrade this offensive line back-to-back years using top 10 picks to rebuild this offensive line. Brian Callahan, this era, like already all the moves that they made shows me that this front office is punting the Vrabel era. We are done with the defensive run to football. We want to throw the hell out of the football. We bring in one of the better young offensive minds who, oh, by the way, unlocked Joe Burrow to now let's try to unlock Will Levis. And coaching the offensive line is Brian Callahan's father, one of the better all-time offensive line coaches. So I am buying into all these small narratives. And if you want a low risk, really high reward situation on your fantasy teams, and I guess it's more for best ball and the large field tournaments, I am all in. It sounds like we're all in on the Tennessee Titans.
I agree. And one thing I wanted to
all in, but I don't mind.
Low risk, high reward.
I could see a world where Will Levis throws like 28 touchdowns with like 24 picks and maybe like 4,000 yards. So his
but that'd be fine for fantasy.
Yeah, for fantasy, I think that's what I'm saying. I think it works.
I think Stallion makes a good point here. They exclusively played him a lot at the X, and Ridley's not an X receiver. And if they can move him around this offense and the formation, I mean, the Jaguars, the one thing I noticed about their offense when I watched it last year, there was no motion, no movement, no creativity whatsoever. So I'm interested to see. We have 2 more questions here. If we want to grab these. What do you say?
I said, of course, it's a Broncos question. We got to get to him.
Shut up. Will Levis. Well, the Broncos question was after that. Will Levis or Watson in Superflex Dynasty? I'm leaning Watson. I lean Watson too. I like Levis, but I still have hope.
Randy Watson. Got to bring that one up.
What did you say?
So glow.
Sexual chocolate. All right.
over my head. You guys are too old for me, obviously. While Anthony's clearly looking up something
Yes.
in regards to that, I'll just roll with the next one. How you feeling about the Bo Nix, Denver's wide receivers? Will, I really like Marvin Mims. He's a guy that I'm targeting at his cost. I know Steve likes Cortland Sutton. I think Marvin Mims is going to be solid though. Are you bringing something up? I'm here.
I missed it. If you
I'm bracing because I'm assuming Anthony's pulling
No,
something.
I'm trying to.
All right.
But StreamYards not let me upload it.
Yeah, I still go with Deshaun as well. I mean, maybe he's just completely falling off the map. That's still a possibility, but I think if anything, we've seen enough from him. I think, it is his second year now with the Browns. They have enough weapons. Yeah, I still got to prefer freaking Deshaun Watson over Willie Fubu's.
Steve, I brought up the Soul Glove, by the way.
Oh, there it is. Perfect.
Nobody knows unless you're our age. It's coming to America for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, most people have seen that movie.
Just let your soul glow.
Come on now. You hit that note pretty good, Aaron.
I don't know why. I was trying to play that while you had that up.
But that Soul Glow is not fucking Girls Gone Wild bongo.
I know. I just wanted to pull it up anyway because of the graphic.
You're playing like island music. Soul Glow is like from the soul.